All right, you guys. Well, I want to welcome you to our Tuesday training. It's October 21st. Like, what? Really? I can't even believe it. Like a month from Thanksgiving? What? No, anyway, my favorite thing is turkey sandwiches on sourdough bread with a little mayonnaise, lettuce, salt and pepper, tomato. I will make a turkey, an extra one just to have that, just so you guys know. All right. And it's about the only time of the year I even eat sandwiches. But I do love a good turkey sandwich. And then I like to put a little potato chips on there for a crunch with a pickle on the side. Okay, just so you guys know. How's everyone doing out there? We're rocking and rolling. I want to just take a moment and thank Tracy and Laura last night for running the business opportunity overview. Thank you, girls, very much. Yay, let's give it up for them. And we do want to continue to train other people to be able to run those events as well. You know, what I find, guys, in the years that I have been in network marketing, I show up always as a student. You ever come and watch me, you'll notice I look like a lawyer. I always have a legal pad and I'm always taking notes. And you know what I find really interesting is no matter what it is, when I look for what can I learn, what is this teaching me? Sometimes it's another way of saying something. Sometimes it's something I didn't even know, right? Like I could be going along and thinking it's a certain way or have a mentality, and I didn't realize. Oh, wow. So I just want to continue to encourage you that whenever you show up to a training, to an overview, to anything that has to do with your business, that you come with that open mind, that coachable spirit, and that you take notes. It's so powerful to go back and review your notes. And even my goal is always to take 1 to 3 things, just 1 to 3 things, because sometimes, 5 or 6 things or retooling a whole whatever may be too much. And it can also cause us sometimes to get into like that frozen place, right? So if we just look at what is one thing or what are 3 things that I can do with that training, um, and then implement that over time, you'll start finding a new comfort zone, only to grow into other uh, out of comfort zones. But you know what I'm saying. You start kind of getting more confidence under your belt. So today, guys, what we're going to train around is we're going to talk about really what is three-way chats, why it matters to your business, and then really how to do it, how to make it most effective where you can really leverage three-way chats. And then the second thing that we're going to do is I started on a checklist for onboarding. So I'm going to just walk through what I have so far. It does need a little bit of polishing, but I think it's going to be really helpful so that when you do bring on a new team member, you just kind of go right down the list with them. Now, I ideally would like to have one for the trainer and one for the new brand ambassador. But right now, I'm just going to work off one checklist, and you will be able to kind of use it and go right along with your new people. Okay. I feel like this way we're all going to be doing the same thing, and duplication, you guys will hear that word over and over and over again. That is key to building thriving teams. So as simple as we can make it and as effortless for people to take action is always the goal. All right, I'm going to start by drawing a card. I myself need a little pick me up here this morning. I kind of had a few things um, this morning that I needed to handle, and I'm feeling a little bit squirrely here. I got to get grounded back again. And Deb K, she doesn't know, but I'm going to ask Deb to take us just through 3 rounds of breath. Deb, will you do that while I shuffle the cards? So everybody sit up real straight. We're going to recenter our nervous system. I am all about that. And Deb is the queen. So we're going to let
Of,
her.
of breath, maybe. Most of
Okay.
what I've learned about breathing is inherent or through Joan.
All right, ready?
So everybody just sit up straight in your chairs and let's just lift our arms up over our head and take a big deep inhale and exhale. Bring your arms down and just focus on letting everything go and just focus on your breath in this moment and take a deep breath in through your nose. Hold it, and you're going to let it go through your mouth, letting go of anything that you have felt is interfering with your focus for your day today. Feeling it flow away from your body. And take another deep breath in through your nose. Inhale. Feel only good things flowing in. Hold it and exhale, letting all of that good energy flow to all of the people, places, and things you will encounter throughout the rest of your day. And now we're going to do one more deep breath in through your nose, bringing in reciprocated love and kindness, and hold that. And as we let it out, we're going to focus on helping ourselves feel centered and grounded and letting that flow to all who are around us in our sphere of influence.
Oh, Deb, you're so good. I love it. Let's give it up for Deb. Guys, I want to just remind you, certainly you can join Morning Motivation every single Monday, but this little step of breathing, of just taking those breaths, breathing in through your lungs, filling up the lungs, holding at the top, and then letting it out, just like Deb walked us through, this is so powerful to resetting, to centering, and to grounding. Okay. Not only do I teach it, but I live it and I do it all the time. And I want to tell you that as you begin practicing breathing and just really understanding the power of your breath, you will find that you will have elevated moods and you'll be able to release things that are fearful and scary and, things that don't serve us much more quickly. And the energy that we want to stay in when we're building businesses is high vibrational energy so that we continue to draw that to us, right? Okay. Michelle, did you have a question? Okay. All right. So guys, the card that I drew that popped right out is card number 29. Ironically, out of 65 cards, card number 29 says, get moving on that thing that you've been putting off. How many of you on the call right now maybe have been putting something off, or you need to get started and maybe it's just been gnawing at you a little bit, or maybe it's just even not even around business. Maybe it's something around your house. I don't know. I've been looking at some pictures that I've been meaning to frame for like a month, maybe 2 months, if I'm being honest. A long time. They're getting dust on them. And I just you know what? I've even had some time and I just haven't. So it's time to get moving on that. There's a couple things in my business that I tend to procrastinate, one of them being content, right? So for me, I have to schedule a time and discipline myself to stay in that schedule, stop doing laundry, prepping food, getting another glass of iced tea. I do all these things that get me busy so I don't go do the thing. So I can easily fall into the habit of procrastination. I am reminded that fear may be keeping me from taking action. What is it that I'm putting off? What fears could be keeping me from taking action? Today, I'm not just going to think about it. I'll actually take the first step. And I'll notice how much better I feel by doing rather than thinking. Flip the switch from procrastination to urgent action. I am an action taker and I feel good about me. Here's what I want you guys to know. Anybody here, drop a one in the comments if you've thought of yourself maybe as a perfectionist, if you've ever been in that zone of perfectionism. You know what? I just want it to look good. I want it to be perfect. Before it goes up, I got to say the right words perfectly. Okay, this will be the killer of a network marketing business, just so you guys know. Fear of perfection, or I am a perfectionist. So I want you to instead take on a new belief. You might be going, well, what's the new belief? I am someone that practices daily. That's what I am. I don't do anything perfect, nor do I want to, because by the way, just so you guys know, people don't attract to perfect. Have you guys noticed? People attract to authentic. They attract to genuine. They actually like it when it's not perfect because then what do you think they believe? Wow, Joan's not perfect. She's doing pretty good. I could probably do what she's doing. Do you see? Or wow, that was a big bust, but she dusted herself off and got right back up. See, by practicing, we can be an inspiration to others. Perfection just gets scrolled across, just so you guys know. Okay? All right. Anybody got anything they want to share before we get going here? Any comments around the card? Okay. All right. Well, first off, I just want to welcome each one of you. I'm really glad that you showed up to the call today, and I'm also glad that we're recording this because I think we're going to get a lot of great information. The first thing I want to start with is let's talk about leveraging three-way chats. How many, and I say three-way chats, but really, in some chats, you might add multiple people. So, oh, good, Sharon, you're so good. So, most people think of a three-way chat as, um, I'm getting help to close a prospect. Okay. I'm getting help to close a prospect. But really, what I want you to realize is a three-way chat is so much more than that. And it's one of the most powerful tools that you can use in your business for duplication. And I'm going to tell you, when I first started being, in three-way chats, I say three-way, let's just call them chats. They're just chats because they can be more than three people. But nonetheless, when I first started doing those, it was like hop on a Zoom and we'll do like a three-way or a call. Remember back in the day, it might have been a call for some of you old timers. But today, what it is we add people to a chat that we created. And I just want to make sure that everybody really understands the purpose of a three-way chat. Okay. So a three-way chat isn't about getting somebody to say yes to you. That's not what it's about. It's about letting your prospect see what support looks like. It also builds the belief that they too can do this because they're seeing how the team or the people within the team come around each other, right? So it promotes teamwork, mentorship, and community right from the start. Okay. So I want you just to think about that. It's not we're putting them in a three-way chat so Joan can close them. Okay. It's not, although that can happen. Okay. But it is so much more. It's for the prospect to see what our team community looks like, what the support looks like, what mentorship looks like. And already they're going to feel a part of, right? It starts making them feel a part of. Okay, so if you're taking notes, and I'm sure you guys are, wink, I want you to write these down. So the purpose of a three-way chat, number one, is to transfer belief. Okay, so we transfer belief from, let's say, the person that set it up to the mentor and then to the prospect, right? So it's basically from you, well, I should say it rather like this, from you and your mentor to the prospect. That's a better way to say it. So we're building on the belief that's taking place. Okay. The second purpose, and probably one of the most important pieces of a three-way chat, is to leverage credibility while you're learning. Now, I happen to be on a team, not too terribly long ago where my upline, my mentor was in the top 40 of all network marketers of the world. And I will tell you that I learned so much from him in three-way chats. He's a master at three-way chats. I learned how to say certain things about the company. I learned how to position certain things so that I sounded almost professional or like a pro, not perfect, but professional. Okay. I also learned new things that different people within the chat would share. So let's say that I set up a chat and I invited Tracy and Michelle and Deb K, and then we had a prospect. So there's maybe 5 of us in there. But I added people based on how I thought that person might relate. So let's say, they were really experienced in network marketing for many years. So I added Michelle and Tracy. Let's say they were, somebody that was in, yoga and mindset. And so I added Deb K, so you want to position the people that you're adding with a little bit of thought in mind. You know, how will that prospect connect to those people? So if you've got a really stiff prospect, now just hear me on this, you probably don't want to add the funny girl. Do you get where I'm going? Not because the funny girl isn't funny, but because that person that's very, rigid might not relate to that as much. Okay. All right. So keep in mind that in a three-way chat, you are understanding what your prospects' needs and wants are. So you want to align, pardon me, the people that you invite into the chat as best you can. All right. Okay. The third thing is it shows duplication. Your new person realizes they don't have to know everything to win. Now, I want you guys to drop a 2 in the comments. Don't you love it that you can use a video so that you don't have to know everything? Drop a 2 if you think, yeah, I really like that. Because in the old days, we didn't have videos, right? You had to be really great at presenting the opportunities of the opportunity, where today we can allow the tool to do the work for us. And the tool makes me look like a pro, right? I'm like, hey, I'm just going to pop this video over so that you can check it out. Sometimes I even say things like, hey, I'm going to pop this video over so you get all the clarity and the information before we actually chat. And you know what, Amanda? I can't wait to see what you love most about the video, or I can't wait to see what spoke to you most about the video. Avoid, I can't wait to see what questions you have. Okay? Avoid that. You want to know what they love. You want to bring them back to the emotion that sparked them. All right? Okay. So, duplication, people seeing it, they're learning while they're doing. That is a three-way chat leveraged at best. And then the last thing is it's to create connection. So, not only are we going to, um, you know, create relatability by putting more like-minded people together, but we're also creating a connection. So when that person, gets added to the team chat, they already know a few people. They're not feeling as distant, right? Creating community is one of Megan and my goals, and it's always to create an incredible community of support, right? Of support so that no matter what level people come in at, they have the tools to succeed if they followed the steps, right? Okay. So if your prospect walks away thinking, I could never do what she does, you've lost duplication. But if they walk away thinking, wow, she's doing this alone, I could totally do what she's doing. Or I'm sorry, she's not doing this alone. I could totally do what she's doing. Then you win. And that really is the goal. Okay, everybody with me? Is this helpful? Drop a 3 in the comments if you feel like this has been helpful for you to understand the bigger picture of three-way chats. Okay, good. So I want to see everybody starting to use those like a banshee. Okay. Um, So let's talk about some of the kind of rules of the road with three-way chats. So you don't have to notify somebody if you're dropping them into a three-way chat. Okay, you don't have to notify them. However, sometimes if you know people are busy, I don't ever mind if somebody comes over and text message me or whatever and says, hey, Joan, I add you to a three-way chat. Make sure you pop over there. I don't ever mind because typically I am, in Messenger in the morning, sometimes in the afternoon, usually later. So I don't mind. But you don't have to notify people, but you should notify them if it's been a while, right? Let's say it's been 2, 3 hours. Okay. The other reason why you want to add multiple people to a chat is because people are busy. So let's say that I added Amanda and Holly and Cheryl. And I'm just making this all up, but let's pretend that Holly and Cheryl both are gone for the full day that I added them for whatever. Holly was at her work and Cheryl was at wedding planning or something. Well, thank God we had Amanda in there because Amanda was available. Do you guys see where I'm going with this? So don't hesitate to add multiple people. That way you're not feeling, in case someone doesn't answer immediately, that you don't have anybody in the chat. All right? All right. Next thing I want to mention is how do you actually create the chat? So the majority of chats that you're going to create are going to be in Messenger, the majority. Now they can be done in text message, but the majority would be done in Messenger because that's where we're all working. So what you want to do is you want to name the chat with that rocket. This way we all know that that's a chat. Okay? You guys with me? So you name it at the top with the rocket. All right. You're going to add the mentors and the prospect to the chat. And then you want to immediately introduce the prospect and what her needs are. Now, hear me on this. It's really important because sometimes I've gotten into a three-way chat and it'll say, Karen has questions. Okay, that's not good enough, guys. What you want to do is you want to introduce, and I'm just again making this up, Karen, so this isn't your story, but I'm using your name. So I might say something like, hey, Karen is already watched the video. She's super excited about learning more about how you balance, working your day job and doing a business like this. She's also really excited about the discounts or something. Okay, so what does that do for me? Who can answer? I'm going in there. I'm a mentor. You added me to the chat. What does that do for me? Who can answer?
Well, it sets you up for success, Joan, because you have knowledge of where she's at.
There you go. Okay. So what it does is it gives me knowledge to know how to speak to that girl and what's most important to her. See, if I don't know anything, I'm just going to speak. But here's also what I want you guys to know. And some of you have added me to three-way chats, and I'm grateful because I hope that I'm able to help and help you leverage the chat and whatnot. But I always start out with my story. So I'll say something like, gosh, Amanda, it's so nice to meet you. And then let's say it was Holly that set up the chat. So Amanda's the prospect, Holly set up the chat. I will then edify Holly. Oh gosh, you're in great hands with Holly. She's been in network marketing for a couple years. She's had an amazing amount of success. She's so good with people and she's always on all of the trainings. So you're really in good hands. I'm going to tell you just a little bit about how I got started with MWR, or I'm going to tell you a little bit about my background because let's say that this person is wondering if, let's see, what could it be? Maybe this person has a lot of fear in getting started, and maybe that's what Holly told me. You know what? Amanda's loving the video. She's doing great. She does have a few things that she wants to cover, but Joan, she's really just on the fence right now because she's a little bit nervous that she doesn't know enough people. Just pretend that's what was shared in the chat. So then that brings me back to part of my story that I can share to help Amanda move through her challenge of fear. Does that make sense, you guys? You guys with me? I only see a few faces, so just want to make sure I'm on the right path with you guys. All right. So again, do a proper job of introducing your mentors, and you don't have to say a lot. You don't have to go into like hours of it, but just even a few sentences. When you introduce the mentor, you also edify the mentor. So you could, whatever you want to say, a few sentences. You know how I learned what to say? By listening to other people in three-way chats. Some people do a really great job at edifying, and I think most people can do a great job, but they just don't understand how to do it. So listen in the three-way chats, but basically you're saying some good and nice things about the mentor, and then you would tell the mentor, and Joan's going to share a little bit around her story and, touch on the things that are most important to you. Just something like that. Okay. All right. So let me see here where we're at. Okay. So the other thing I wanted to share about a three-way chat is it definitely is a time to answer questions. So this morning I was talking to one of the brand ambassadors, and somebody was on the a business overview call and they didn't get their questions answered. And let's say that you don't know the answer either. I'm giving an example, right? So immediately what you'll want to do, like, is just put the people into a chat. Now, here's a caution. I never ask somebody, "Oh, Helen, do you want me to put you in a three-way chat so you can talk to one of my mentors?" I don't do that. Does anyone know why?
It feels really uncomfortable to the person who is a prospect. They don't know any of these people and it's weird, maybe.
Yeah. Well, they don't know them. That's one thing. But the other thing is they may feel like they're being, you know, wrangled in, like this person's going to try and close them. And that really isn't the goal. So what I like to say is something just casual like this. Like I'd say, "Gosh, Deb, you're probably sick of hearing everything from me. What I'd love to do now is I want to introduce you to a couple of the business partners or mentors or people I work with, so that you can get a feel for our team and hear a little bit more about how they got started. And then certainly let's make sure that you get your questions answered, and then that's it. Okay? So I let them know ahead of time that they're going to get an opportunity to hear about their stories. Okay. So, another thing that you guys could do for homework, I know we've already trained a little bit on this, but it's really important. Get your story down. What is your story? Right? And everyone here has a story. You started in network marketing, blah, blah, blah. Before network marketing, you worked a full-time other job, and you were invited into network marketing because you wanted to make an extra $500 to $1,000. You were able to do that. So you're sharing a little bit of your story, what made you choose MWR, network marketing, and then you're basically saying, and here's where I am today. I recently just joined this company, or however you want to do it, but here's what I want you to say. Get your story, write it out, whatever you want to do, take a picture of it or copy and paste it, put it into ChatGPT and tell ChatGPT to bring it down to a 30 to 45-second story. Do you guys see where I'm going with that? Just trim it down so that you can look at the story when you're telling it over and over again, and it becomes like second nature. It just rolls off your tongue. Okay. And you can continue to, kind of evolve that story as different things transpire in your journey. But what I find is that we can go on and on and on about some things that don't matter as much. So prompt Chat GPT to condense your story and tell Chat GPT, I'm using this story in three-way chats to attract more business builders to my business. Okay. Use that prompt and then, continue to kind of fine tune it. All right. What questions do you guys have about three-way chats? I actually have a little training that I think I will add to our boards around three-way chats. I took all my stuff and just condensed it as well. Okay, so I will add that later today to the boards. Anybody have any questions on three-way chats? Okay, what was most helpful? Who wants to share? Oh yeah,
Hey,
Sharon, sorry.
sorry.
Oh, Amanda, go ahead.
No, I was just going to ask. I was writing down your example of what to say. Did you say want to put you in or don't say that or ask me to be put in a three-way chat, but
Yeah.
you said, to say I'm going to put you in a chat to hear, about my mentor's stories and get more questions answered. Is that what you said?
Yeah. So I'll
Okay.
say like, hey, so I'm texting or voice messaging, hey, Amanda, I'm gonna go ahead and pop you in a chat so that you can meet my mentors and of course get some additional questions answered. You know,
Okay.
meet my mentors, hear their stories, and get some questions answered.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. And I'm kind of a joker type, so I'd be like, "Oh my gosh, Cami, you've already heard enough about from me. Now I want you to meet some of my mentors or some of my business partners. Um, you'll love them, you know. I'd love for you to hear their story, you know. Okay. Do I start? Let me see here. Okay. First off, someone asked how often do I use them? You know what? I would use them on every single prospect all the time. I would use them all day long. I use three-way chats a lot. Okay.
Joan,
So
can I ask you a question? Do
yeah,
you use the chats versus calls, or do you do combos? Do you, you know?
uh, I typically, after they've watched the video and after my initial conversation, and if they're not ready to roll, I add them immediately to a three-way chat. What you have to remember, guys, is you want to always keep the momentum going in with the prospect. Do you guys ever, you've had a moment where somebody watched the video and it's like, it's crickets. So adding a three-way chat will, uh, engage the person again, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? I'm going to just pop you in a three-way chat. I'd love for you to hear some of my mentors' stories and a little bit more about why they joined. You've already heard enough from me, just whatever. That's how I am.
Do you ever then get on a three-way call after that?
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't usually do a lot of calls. I do more Zooms, but let's just say that someone wants to get more details around a comp plan, more details around something. I'd say, hey, let's just pop on a Zoom, or you you guys would say, hey, let me see if my prospects got or my mentor has some availability to hop on a Zoom, something
Oh,
like that.
okay.
Yeah. Also, you guys, I did just drop a new comp plan video last night in the team chat. And that might be, I have not fully watched it, but I'm going to because I heard it's a short one and a good one. All right. Anything else on the three-way chats? The one piece I want to caution you guys, I had team members in the past that are like, oh, I'm not putting anyone in a three-way chat because they had the mentality that the mentors were going to try and close them. Like it was going to bombard their prospect. So I want you to lose that belief because that isn't it at all. You want to expose your prospect to other people that have had success that are aligned with the business. You want that. It shows that well, we already went over all the things that it shows. So just know that it's not a misbelief would be that, my uplines or whomever are trying to close them and they're going to pressure them. That isn't how it should be. You'll notice when I go into a three-way chat, I'll be like, oh gosh, well, here, I'm going to tell you just a little bit about me, and blah, blah, blah. And then at the end or at the beginning, whenever, at some point, I usually say, but gosh, Amanda, I would love to know more about you and what has you considering MWR. I always want to know more about them. Okay. Right. What else? What else before we move on? Do you start the introduction before they say yes to the three-way? I don't ask their permission for a three-way chat ever. I just say, it's basically like next steps, right? I just say, oh gosh, you know what I'd love to do? I'm glad you loved the video and I get it. You still gotta have some questions. Also, what I'm gonna do is pop you into a three-way chat. I want to introduce you to some of my mentors. You're gonna hear a little bit from them and their stories, and then we'll definitely catch up and answer questions. Something like that. Okay? All right. I have a prospect and she's been asking questions since the video in a three-way chat and she's not said no. What's next? Okay, really good question there. I want to share with you guys, when you aren't sure where to go next, there's a little sentence that will help you every single time. Because your whole goal is not to sign them up, okay? That will happen. But your goal is to guide them, this is step 5 of the recruiting process, to a decision. You want a decision because there's nothing worse than being left hanging. There's nothing worse than unfinished business. There's nothing worse than, not understanding where that prospect is. So you guys ready for this sentence? It's really easy. Deb's got it. Okay, you tell me, Amanda, where would you like to go from here? Now, there's a whole lot of other closing sentences that you can use, but that one I like because it puts what? It puts the decision and the ownness back on the person. And you guys might be shocked because sometimes I've thought this person isn't even interested. And I say, well, gosh, you know what? Cheryl, you tell me, where would you like to go from here? And she's like, well, I'm ready. I'm like, oh, whoa. And on occasion, someone will say, you know what, Joan, I really appreciate your time. Oh God, I feel so bad. Like maybe I've even wasted your time, but this just is not me. I am not a travel bug at any level. And what do you think I say?
Do you like money? No, just kidding.
Yeah, yeah. Do you want to make
You can
money
use
when
it in
you're
the
stupid?
lifestyle mall if you don't want to travel.
Oh gosh. So my point though is the whole goal is to get to the next place in the process. And if the process has slowed, you have to look at how you've created urgency or inaction. Because typically when the process slowed, it's because you were vague with the next step. So when I give someone a video, you guys ready for this? When I give someone a video, I say, okay, Amanda, I'm going to pop that video over to you. Now you tell me, I have no idea what your schedule's like. I'm doing a lot of voice messaging, by the way. So I'd say something like, yeah, I have no idea what your schedule's like today. Do you have time to watch it now or later today? Now notice what I said, now or later today. Here's what I want you guys to know. You got to get comfortable with creating urgency because the person will tell you, oh God, I couldn't possibly do it today. I'm leaving for Hawaii at 4. I get it. Oh my gosh. Well, you know what? Maybe you'll have time to watch it at the airport or whatever. You tell me, Amanda, when do you think you'll have time to watch it? Again, I put it back on her. The you tell me is really powerful. Probably 3 of the most powerful words that you can use in the recruiting process. So write it down, circle it, put it on a 3x5 and use it. You tell me. Okay. Now they'll tell you, oh, I can watch it tonight. See, by the person telling you when they're going to watch it, what does that do? Who knows here?
That
Makes a
person's in
commitment.
control of their decisions.
They're in control of their decision. It also is a commitment. Have you ever told somebody, you know what, I'll call you back by 7? And you're like, geez, it's almost 7. Your word has power. and people will hold you to it. So my goal is to always create as much urgency as possible. And I assume, unless they tell me differently, that we're going to move through this process pretty quickly. And sometimes people do tell you differently. You know what? I'm going to need 2 or 3 days to think about it. I don't go, okay, you know what? All right, Sharon, you take the 2 or 3 days and now watch this is what people do. Just let me know when you're ready to talk. That is freaking taboo, you guys. The only people I say let me know are people that are already on my team because I'm in closer relationship, you know? But it's usually let me know what's best for you, this or this. Always choices, never pigeonholing someone, but they're the ones that get to choose by the choices that we give them. Okay? All right, this has been a good training, hasn't it? Okay. All right. Okay, so now, guys, let's kind of pivot here. I want to just take the last few minutes and I'm going to do a little share screen. Hang on a minute here. I want to just go through this with you guys, and I don't have it firmly done. It's close. It won't take me long, but let me at least get over here. Okay, so this is going to be kind of an onboarding checklist. All right, I just want to go through it just briefly. There's going to be some additional things in here, but I just want to have, you know, basically a 1-page, max 2-page checklist. Okay, I have to see how small I can get the font. Okay, so I'm going to give you some word choices that will help you set people up for success without telling them what to do. Okay, so, you know, I'm going to say, okay, Susie Q, you know, let's run through the checklist. And this checklist will be in boards as well, and it'll be near the onboarding conversation. Okay, so we want to set people up for success from day one, and we'll have them start here. So the first thing we're doing is we're adding them to the team chat. Okay, we're adding them to the team chat, and then they can make a check mark. Okay. Says Telegram. We're not doing that. Hang on a minute. Okay. Step 2 is to create the welcome graphic. So the welcome graphic is in under welcome in the boards. There's a template. So if you don't know how to do it, ask your upline, but you are going to then create a welcome graphic. The next thing is we want to post it in the chat to officially welcome them. Now, there's many people that haven't gone public yet, so they may not want to be welcomed. Just ask, okay? Just ask, because some people want to be welcomed in their stories, and then you can do that as well. Okay, the next thing to do is schedule a 15 to 30-minute chat with the new brand ambassador. And guys, this is probably one of the most important things you'll do. And you want to walk them through the boards so they understand this is, you know, part 1, which I'm going to send you now or whatever, or maybe you already sent it to them, but you're going to show them, here's the presentations that you're going to share. On the left side are, and then you're going to, you know, say, here's the ones that you can choose from. Here's which one I use, very effective for this reason. On the other side, there's a, you know, members, talks about the memberships, you know, the comp plan video, different things like that. So you want to get them familiar with how to grab things and where things are. The other thing is you want to use that onboarding conversation to understand more of what your new team members wanting and their level of commitment to the business. So if I was to open that up right now, the first thing is we want to know what they're wanting. What do they want? Remember, it's the why, the want. Okay. The second thing is what are their goals? Where do they want to hit? Okay. And basically the third thing is their time commitment. How often are they going to work? See, you have to know these things as an upline in order to best support them. Okay. And once you've gone over this, often what I'll do is say, would you like me to hold you accountable to these goals? You know, do you want to work step by step with it with me, through it with me? Okay. All right. Step 4 is to send them the start here section. Okay. So you're going to send them the start here section, the first part of the boards, and then you set a time. Don't just say complete this within 24 hours, set a time with them. You know, when will you have this done? In the next 24 hours. You tell me. Okay. And then mark the time down in your calendar. And you're not chasing after them, but you're going to agree with them to let you know at 5, let's say they chose 5 on Wednesday night, that it's complete. Okay? Let me know when it's complete and I'll send you the rest of the boards. All right, I might change these around a little bit. This might be after. But anyway, okay, within 24 hours, they're going to fill out the team system information form so that they get the social media. They're going to sign into schools and complete modules 1 through 3. And they're going to begin inviting to the next presentation. Okay, so also it says walk them through the boards. I would also walk them through, whoops, shit, the team chat. You know, let them know where the calendar is and blah, blah, blah. I have to add a few more things. All right. And then again, like I said, you guys, that I do need to add, there's going to be some more things, but notice that the most successful brand ambassadors stay plugged in. So I use this is the word choices. You know, the most successful brand ambassadors attend the weekly all team training meetings. And then I'm telling them there's the morning meeting at 9 a.m. on Tuesdays, Pacific, and there's the time zones. And then we have the builder call. Whoops. Yeah. Anyway, the builder call is Tuesdays at 1 p.m. All right, you guys, just kind of an overview of what is coming, and this will be ready within the next day or so. I just need to add a few different additional things. Is that helpful? Does that help you guys know how to set someone up and you're just going to go boom, boom, boom? But walk it through with them too, right? Because we want to assume that they are starting with their new person very quickly, right? Okay. All right, you guys, I'm going to open it up. I love having a good system. I know it's important, isn't it? Okay, I'm going to open it up for any questions. We got about 5 more minutes, and I would love to know what you found helpful, what you think would still be helpful. In other words, you might be missing some things, and you want to make a comment like, Joan, can you please add this, or this would be very helpful. I am open. Deb.
I have a question, and this is especially good for newer people.
Yeah.
How quickly should you be moving through the onboarding checklist with somebody? Should you have like around set times of like, hey, get through this in 24 hours with them, or should it be more like giving your new brand ambassador well, not giving them a deadline, but having them set a deadline and not giving them the next step until they're done? Or like,
yeah. So typically that's where, and I like the question because if you leave it up to them to decide, so this is why I like choices. Sometimes people get fearful and they'll go, you know what? I'll do those first 3 steps in like the next 2 weeks. Right? It's true. It can happen. I've recruited, I can't even tell you how many people, and a third of them are scared. So who knows here what's the fastest way out of fear? Of course, Deb knows. Anyway, it's action. it's action. So we want to get them into action immediately, which is why we have them do those first three things in 24 hours. But here's what I'll say. Let's say I just recruited Helen. I would say, Helen, we're going to go over these three things. You know, technically these need to be done within the first 24 hours. When can you get them done? And trust me, she'll tell you. You know, Elle Letts over here, Elle, literally, I said, here's the first three things. And within like 20 minutes, she's like, okay, what's next? I'm like, what? Like she already did it that fast. So don't assume they need more time if you're someone that has needed more time. Just guide them along the suggested path that we make in the checklist. Okay, is that helpful? Urgency is key in everything you do in sales and business. If you're somebody that's a little more chill and lackadaisical, you got to whip that up. Because when you let momentum stop in a conversation, the likelihood of you losing them increases tenfold. And a lot of people don't realize that, but they can get a lot of outside influence. The other thing is they can, start listening and looking at other people. So when it comes to that conversation, you want to just look at it and think, my job is to continue the momentum and get through these steps in the best way possible. All right. Oh, thank you. All right. I'm glad this was helpful. Any other questions that we can answer before I pop off here? I'm happy to answer anything.
Hey, Joan, I have one quick question.
Yeah. Hey, Kara.
If we sign, I know I asked this last time, but I didn't quite understand it. So if we sign people up just for the travel membership and not the business side, does that count towards our silver? Like, should we be trying to do that to get to silver, or should we wait until we have more business people set up?
Oh, you mean, no. Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah, for people that don't want to be brand ambassadors, that just want the travel benefits.
Yeah. So, God, now I'm questioning myself. Who knows the answer to that? I think it's elite and elite turbo members, and I think
Yeah.
it can be members and it can be brand ambassadors. Does that make sense? It's both, as long as they're an elite and elite turbo.
Elite and elite turbo. Okay, I'm
Yeah.
reading this. Thank you, Joan.
You got it. Yeah, sorry. For a minute I was like, wait a minute. But yeah, any elite or elite turbo members of both kinds. All right. Anyone else?
Can I add, this might be helpful too for people who only have like a member on the $20 a month, is it was mentioned on one of our training calls that there was somebody who was actually bringing lots of people in like that and then upgrading them to elite and elite turbo. So even if that's not your intention, you should probably offer that to them when you're touching base every once in a while if they wanted to earn points and get more benefit out of it. Even if they're not like really working the business, they can still pay the fee and get double points and all the extra stuff.
All the things. Yeah,
Yeah.
really good point. Okay, you guys. Well, I will be on the builder call today at 1 p.m. and this call will go up, and I'm going to make sure that I'm actually thinking I'm going to start posting some of these training calls in the boards as well so that you guys can find them as needed. Okay, guys, have a fabulous day. And Heather Hansen, I'll meet you right back here. I'm going to end this. Okay, guys, have a beautiful day. Bye-bye.